What is up guys, Andy Forrest Team Runner here. Welcome back to another video, and today I'm delighted to be bringing you guys my first impressions of the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 3. So just over 6 miles covered in the Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 3 today. Really excited to share my thoughts on this one because as a lot of you guys know, Adidas have not done bigger shoe sizes for a while, but this year they've opened up their Adios range. So we've got the Boston 11, we've got the Adios 7, and we've got the Pro 3 now available in bigger shoe sizes, which means I can finally test their shoes. So really excited to dive in and share my thoughts with you on the first run on this shoe today. So if you're excited for the video guys, make sure you give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and we'll dive right in to the tech. So we'll kickstart by saying we have a 6.5mm drop from heel to toe. We've got 39.5mm of stack height in the heel and 33 in the forefoot. I went half size up, usually a UK size 13. This is a 13.5, and I will put the weight on the screen now for this size shoe. And as always, we'll work away from the heel counter, move down to the ankle collar, the tongue, the lacing, the upper, the midsole, and then move our attention to the outsole. So let's start at the back here, and let's just say straight off the bat, it's a textile upper with a few overlays and a few laminations. That's no different at the back here. You'll see we have a bit of a spine to the shoe here, if you want to call it that. A bit of extra material added there just to give it a bit of pop back, a bit of spring, a bit of shape, a bit of structure, but without adding too much weight, because the rest of the upper is extremely lightweight, extremely flexible, and exactly what you would expect in a racing shoe. Where they're trying to save weight, they don't want all of this extra material going on the upper, so they do a good job here with adding that structure without adding too much to the back of the shoe. The heel counter groove, the ankle collar groove is cut nicely, sits under the ankle bones, lovely, didn't have any issues there. I did experience a bit of rubbing with this top of the back of the shoe here on my left Achilles. I did sort it by folding that piece of fabric in. That worked a treat. The other shoe stayed out, this one went in, and that seemed to sort it. So I'm not quite sure what this is all about, if it's to go up, if it's to fold out, if it's to fold in. I guess there's some options for you depending on how it fits for you. But overall, really happy with the back here. Bumper cushioning around the back to cradle the Achilles and the back of the foot, and it sits in nicely. The tongue is not gusseted, it is paper thin, and if I can show you, we have an offset cutout in it to wrap around the top of your foot really, really nicely. So a lot of ventilation holes in the tongue, and it's a good tongue. When it's not gusseted, it can sometimes slip left, right, or go down the shoe. That's eliminated by the fact that we've got a couple of sections on the tongue to hold the laces in. I don't know if you can see here, this bottom section where the laces go underneath, and then further up we've got another one here with the Adizero lamination over the top, the laces go underneath. So that just holds the tongue in place and stops any slipping down or left to right. And again, with the lacing, I found it to be fine. I wouldn't say it was great. The left foot was good. The right foot did come loose towards the end of the workout. I did feel my foot have a bit more freedom in the shoe. I did make sure I cinched down from the bottom all the way up at the beginning of the run, so I need to have a bit of a play with that. I'm not sure what's going on there, but overall they didn't come undone, so that's the main thing, but they did come a little bit loose. And in terms of the rest of the upper, I loved it. I've got to say I loved it. In the beginning, I got a bit of rubbing in certain areas, which we'll talk about shortly, but as the run went on, that disappeared and I didn't have any further issues. We've got a lot of lamination going on here with the logos and the Adidas logo here, but overall you can see, if I just run across there, you can see where there's a few extra bits of material added, but overall it's a very, very lightweight upper. One of the shining stars for me in this shoe, and you'll have to excuse me because it is really, really exciting. I haven't tried an Adidas shoe for a very, very long time. Light Strike Pro midsole. Wow, what a midsole. And I don't really know what to compare it to because it's not for me like Zoom X and it's not for me like what they put in the Power Run PB Plus or whatever it is in the Saucony Pro 3. It's different, but it really works. It works so well and I had a blast in it this morning. It's firmer. I wouldn't say it's that sink and bounce feeling that you get with the Nike Zoom X's, but you do get a lot of responsiveness in the shoe. And I did find with this geometry at the toe end of the shoe that I was able to turn over so quickly and it felt good. The cadence was high this morning and it was really solid. There was something about it. I really liked it. So that combined with the energy rods that are within the shoe, which have a connection at the back now. You've probably seen the images online. In previous versions, they were just single energy rods. Now they're all connected at the back here and then spray off into the top of the shoe, splay off, sorry, I should say, sitting under each metatarsal of the foot. That's the idea of it. So it's not a carbon plate as such. It's an energy rod, different science. Worked really well for me this morning. Massive plus. I don't know, more experimenting to come, but overall really good. And then the outsole is this Continental grip with textile. It says on their website Continental and textile outsole rubber. For me, it's grippy. That was one of the massive pluses this morning, how grippy this shoe was. You wouldn't expect it. It looks a completely smooth outsole. Rubber along here, but the grip on the shoe, I think I've got to say it's probably the grippiest super shoe I have. I felt confident in the shoe and I totally understand why people choose this over other racing shoes. So that is it for the tech. So here we go then, Adidas Adizero Adios Pro 3. First impressions, how did I find the shoe? Let me give you a quick debrief of the workout and then I'll explain how I found it because there's a couple of points to note. It's not all amazing, but it is an incredible shoe. First off, I paid for this shoe with my own money. This colorway is now able to have a discount applied to it, not the other colorways. There is a 30% discount code online. You can use it. I was lucky enough to get a 35% one, but there is a 30% one out there, taking this shoe down to £154. I think I paid 143 with the extra 5%, but overall, what a bargain for a super shoe of this caliber. So I just wanted to get that out there so you know there's no bias here. I purchased this with my own money. On to my thoughts of the shoe. So the first thing that I noticed was the rubbing in the back of the Achilles on the left foot. As I mentioned earlier, by folding that material in, that went away. I don't think it's naturally meant to fold in. I don't know. I think by the feel of the material, it naturally folds out, as you can see there. When you try and fold it in, it springs back. So maybe that's a hack, maybe you can do it, I don't know, or maybe you should have it sat at the back. Either way, it was just a little bit of a dig into the back of the Achilles. But as I said, once I folded that in, it was sorted. I had a couple of spots. Sizing is ridiculous with Adidas. It's my one gripe I have with them. A lot of their shoes are quite narrow. I have quite wide feet. I half sized up, and I think in hindsight, I'd love to try a 14 to see what it's doing. A 13.5 is fine. I have probably just less than half a thumb's width in the end of the shoe. And I wouldn't want to run a hilly or lumpy course in this shoe. I think my toes would take a massive battering. There was no issues this morning because it was flat running and I had no issues with the toe. But I think with sizing, it's just peculiar. I don't know what. Basically, this is a 13.5 and it says US 14. In my Asics, a UK 13 is a US 14. And a lot of my other shoes, a UK 13 is a US 14. So apparently a 13.5 in Adidas is also a US 14. So I'd love to try a UK 14. That size isn't available. And I'm going to stick with this one for now anyway, because it's really not a massive issue. But what I did notice, if you have wider feet, is I obviously noticed the tightness at the top. Just here, I had a little bit of rubbing. That disappeared as I got like a mile into the run, and it was fine. And as I mentioned at the back, Achilles. By the time I finished my run, my feet felt great. There was no issues whatsoever. And I think that's just because the upper material is so flexible that it molded to the shoe. It was around this point here where you can see the extra material in the side of the shoe. That's where it was a little bit tight, but as I said, it loosened up over time. The key is gonna be the long run test, and we'll be doing that, don't you worry, probably this weekend. So if I can spend a good hour and a half in the shoe, I'll have a bit more information there. And that is it for the warnings of the shoe, for the issues that I had once I got running in this shoe. Oh my goodness, I can totally see why people rave and recommend about this shoe. Couple of shining points about it. The grip, as I mentioned, is incredible. I felt so confident in this shoe. This would be the shoe that I would choose to race in wet conditions out of all the other shoes. I'm not talking performance-wise, but grip-wise, it was absolutely incredible. And just doing the short, fast workout that I did today, the turnover in this shoe was just fantastic. So what I had was 3 by a K, and then I had a 4-minute rest, and then I had 6 by 300 meters. I know it's a marathon racing shoe, but I'm not training for a marathon now, so I had to make the best of it and just take it out for a speed workout. And my goodness, didn't it deliver. I'd use it on a 5K, I'd use it on a 10K, I really, really would. The midsole was the other shining star for me. It was so different to anything I tried, unlike the Zoom X. I think I'm so used to the Zoom X that I'm used to that sink and bounce sensation. You don't quite sink into this, but I feel the propulsion from this shoe is just fantastic, and it feels like a denser midsole. You don't quite get that. It is squishy, don't get me wrong, it's very, very squishy, but you don't quite get that sink and bounce sensation that you do in the Pro 3 or the Nike shoes. It's much more of a slightly gentle sink in, but I still feel the same amount of propulsion, and that for me works really, really well. And it worked really well today because I split some of my best times ever in this shoe. Granted, I'm week 1 of training, granted I'm fresh, but either way, I absolutely had a blast in this shoe. So actually, if I'm brutally honest with you, I couldn't recommend this highly enough. In terms of the price you can get it at, would I pay $220 for it with the sizing issues and stuff like that? Possibly. I need to do more testing in it. Is it a competitor for my other racing shoes? I need to do more testing in it, and I think the long run will be a good test this weekend. I'll be racing in it for sure over the next few weeks. This will get an outing at a race, and I will give you more detailed information then. But overall, I've got to say, this is a really promising start. In terms of sizing, a lot of you guys that run in Adidas already, you probably have got the gist of Adidas sizing. I have not. So I will be trying a size up again when I get another Adidas shoe, might even try a 14. And we'll see how that fares. I just feel like their sizing is incredibly weird, and it's something that I need to get my head around, and I don't think is very user-friendly for everyone else that runs in other brands of shoes and wants to try an Adidas shoe. But overall, I've got to say, what a start to life in the shoe rotation. Quick note, I'm going to be doing a more extended version with the full workout information and more thoughts on the workout itself in the next video. I filmed the whole workout. I will take you along the journey with me, and I will talk to you a little bit more in detail about how the workout went and how I felt the shoe how this shoe performed specifically on that morning. Just can't get over it, to be honest with you. So yeah, stay tuned for that, subscribe to the channel, and that will be the next video out after this one. So there we go, that's my thoughts on the Pro 3. Finally got my hands on an Adidas shoe, finally got to test it, really excited for the future of this shoe, can't wait to run in it more and see how things go. I'd love to hear from you guys if you've run in the Pro 3 before, if you're considering getting it with this 30% discount that's out there, and what your thoughts are with this compared to other racing shoes out there. Drop a comment, let me know you've stopped by, let me know your thoughts on it, and I'd love to talk to you there. That's it for today, guys. If you've enjoyed the video, enjoyed the review, please give it a like, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel for weekly running content, and as always, I'll see you in the next one. Until then.